Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Meena Vekaria. I am your host for today. Welcome to OCAD Live. I'm in my fourth year in environmental design and I have a very interesting background in Indian classical dance. And today I'm going to be exploring the minds of similar minded people around in our community. So I have a guest, Yannan Ma.
Hi everyone.
Um, so I will be interviewing him, and my first question to you is I want you to introduce yourself, tell us what program you are in, and what you're presenting at GradX.
I am a digital futures student. I'm in the undergrad program and graduating this year. My work that I'm presenting is called Beats and Bolts. It's a rhythm game set in the Industrial Revolution. That's sort of the time period. It was a group project, a collaborative one, in fact, between OCAD students and UFT students, and I was the team lead of a group of 10.
Is your game like a physical thing or a digital
It's a video game.
video game?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to talk about it? Tell us
Yeah.
what it is.
So it's a rhythm game. So you have to move and attack on beat the entire time. The narrative premise is that you're a factory worker set in the Industrial Revolution. You find out one day that this machine has taken over the factory and you're now jobless.
Mhm.
So you try to sneak into the factory and take down the machine to get your job back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sort of like the way AI is taking
Yeah,
over
yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
job.
We sort of wanted to make a nod to that without being too on the nose about it. So
Yeah.
we decided to change the time period a little bit. But
Yeah.
I'm glad you got that reference.
Yeah, that's nice. Have you heard any interesting feedback on your work from like the audience and the people who've been visiting?
Yeah, I mean, all sorts of feedback. We've had really interesting suggestions. A lot of people want to see the game completed, and I've come across a couple of really passionate sort of industry people, or
Mhm.
even students who are also aspiring game designers. They've been sharing their ideas. You know, they think, oh, it would be so cool if this game had this mechanic, or if you guys were to progress, if you had multiplayer or some things like that. It's always interesting to have that conversation.
I don't know if you know, but a lot of people don't know what Digital Futures is.
Okay.
Like until they join OCAD. Do you want to explain your program a little bit to the audience?
Yeah, no worries. A lot of people, even once they're in OCAD, don't know what Digital Futures is. So
Yeah,
so
I still don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So Digital Futures is sort of it's a more experimental program, I would say. It dabbles in a lot of different technologies, and it has a particular interest in whatever is current, right? So just to give you some insight, some of our classes we've had have talked about XR, VR and AR technologies, making games on those, or the integration of language learning models into our workflow. Instead of rejecting it, we try to sort of embrace it and see how can we use it for good.
So it's a very interesting program. Like you could branch out in all these different sections,
Yeah,
right?
the main atelier courses sort of focus on teaching you a little bit of everything.
Mhm.
That way, in your own time, you sort of figure out oh, I really like this, but I wasn't a huge fan of that, and so you can develop your skills more towards something that you like.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Do you have any future plans now that you're graduating?
Oof.
That's a question I don't want to answer.
It's always a loaded question.
Yeah.
I have had some thoughts. Obviously, it would be nice to get a job and stuff. I've been trying to sort of speak to people at GradX as they come by, seeing if I speak to anybody interesting, or any future prospects or anything of the sort. But one of my goals is definitely to keep working on this game, Beats and Bolts. I would like to gather up the team and sort of continue development of the game, and then maybe even look into the marketing side of things and try to ship it. There's definitely a lot of support I'm getting from my program chair, Emma Westacott. She's a fantastic person, and she's been so supportive, and so I have confidence that we'll make something work out.
Yeah. Where do you draw your inspiration from for all your work?
I guess it depends. I sort of, in my own personal work, I generally tend to lean towards the melancholic, or the sort of unsettling. I like creating really unsettling vibes for whatever reason. But for this game, we had the inspiration that we had was the sound of machines clanging and stuff. When you're in a room full of machinery, they make a lot of noise, but it's rhythmic. It's very structured, and so that's where the whole idea of setting our game in the Industrial Revolution came from, and like creating a factory setting. And so while we initially didn't think it was like steampunk, it does kind of lean in towards that steampunk aesthetic, but not, but but a little bit different. You'll have to see the game to like really get understand what I'm
Really
saying.
understand
But
it.
yeah.
Okay. Do you want to add anything else up, or we can wrap up now?
I don't think so. Other than like, yeah, check out the game and stuff, and follow our Instagram page at beats n, like the letter N, and then bolts.
Okay.
We'll keep updating on that page, and
Mhm.
then as we develop the game more, hopefully, we'll gather a following and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. This brings us to the end of this interview. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Say bye.
Bye.